Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Leagues of the Past Randomizer League. I am James FNX, and I am joined today by Cool Papa Bell 2282. Papa, how's it going?
It is going great today. I'm excited to see some cross keys action. In the interest of full disclosure here, I am a team member for the this is definitely going to be a good matchup with Jexreffy, and I'm excited to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, we've got, like I said, you got cross keys actions, cross-world entrance randomizer mixed up with key sanity. This is one of the most complicated modes for runners trying to figure out how to keep notes on where everything's at, where to find all those keys, and what exactly you need to get to the finish line. We got the Talking Heads Jexreffy. Talking Heads on 12 points, tied for 5th in the division, Villager Outcast division, against the BumRushBlitz, the Cool Rush Gamers, and they're on 3 points, tied for 7th in the division. We should be getting started here in just a moment. Lots of things. So you ran through this earlier this week. How was that for you?
Yeah, it went pretty well. I had a rough seed. We had to climb both GT and Aga Tower to get some required keys. So, cross keys can make you do some strange stuff. Defeat Aga 1 just to get access to the well. When the entrances are shuffled all over the place, you get put in some very strange situations, which is what makes it interesting and definitely always a fun watch for cross keys.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this one goes. This is going to put our runners to the test. We'll get started here in just a moment.
And a reminder also that this is basically a fast Ganon goal. Our runners do not necessarily have to defeat Aga 2 to beat Ganon, but that does open up one more entrance into the pyramid drop-down, so might be required to get some items behind that entrance.
Yeah, and the logic for Crossed World Randomizer, if you haven't seen it yet, all the entrances are mixed up in between each other. And connectors can go between the light world and the dark world, so that can be your access into the dark world is through a pathway that normally would just go in between two different entrances. And the one other thing is that the drop downs are mixed in with each other. They're not mixed between each other, so your uncle drop down is always going to be attached to the other entrance in that area, and vice versa, and things like that. As Jexreffy finds our smiths at the witch hut.
Yeah, and we've got Sanctuary at the Uncle drop-down. Jexreffy doing a sort of standard start where you fake flipper up, check out the witch's hut, and then see this drop-down just on the west side of the river. And then you can immediately do a hula hand glitch, so you have cash ready for any bomb shops that you find or paying the bottle vendor, that sort of thing. BumRush is going to do that second after having checked out the Hyrule Castle entrances.
Yeah, and our west of the river drop down is the uncle. He just has a map today. Let's see what this other item is for him. Big Kia pod. It's an important one to grab.
Yeah, so no interesting items very early. It's definitely worth talking about where that Sanctuary start is, because right there at Hyrule Castle, it does not provide convenient access to anything in the world. So our runners are going to have to do a lot of walking after every one of their save and quits to get to where they want to go.
Yeah, it is one of the more unfortunate starting locations for the Sanctuary. It can be in any one of the drop-down locations. You usually want to see it either near Kakariko or where it is in Vanilla. So having it at the castle is just probably the worst place for it. Jexreffy did get the hula hand room with no problems, and BumRushBlitz will be seeing that shortly as well. Bit more rupees for Jax in the tree pole. That's a good find.
Jexreffy not opening up that sanctuary chest just yet. Oh, I think there was a bomb shop in Hyrule Castle, so he can do back of escape right now if he wants to, which I assume he does.
BumRushBlitz kind of missed that out by choosing to go to Sanctuary first over the Houlihan route, so those drops are going to be a little bit longer for him to get. BumRushBlitz gets Houlihan as well, no problems. It looks like BumRushBlitz is going to head over to Kakariko from the south side as Jexreffy doing some bomb action here in the back of Escape. Gets the GT Big Key. We may or may not need that. As you mentioned earlier, this is fast Ganon. There's also a Magic Mirror. Magic Mirror is one of the two most important items in this mode, I think, but between it and Boots, in terms of your mobility and movement across the map.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I am happier to see an early mirror than a Moon Pearl, because you know you're going to get the Moon Pearl fairly early, but the mirror is just a pleasant surprise to get that right away. Jexreffy is definitely happy about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. BumRushBlitz getting over to Kakariko and finding the chicken hut in the first story checks. And gets a sword for his troubles. Jexreffy will be there shortly to pick that up as well. Right side of Maze Race's Spiral Cave. BumRushBlitz will come back to that in a bit, as it's a one-way connector. Once you go through that drop-down, you're not going to be able to get back to the other side.
Yeah, and that's one of those entrances that becomes so much higher variance when you don't have good save and quit points, because you don't want to lose your Kakariko trip already, since it's going to take you so long to walk back here.
Absolutely. And the Maze Race prize today is some blue mail. Blue mail, pretty important. It's not required clearly, but it's pretty important, as these runners will end up in the Dark World on fairly low equipment in most seeds. But getting that Maze Race item does take a lot of effort, as you're going to need to mirror back or find, if that other side entrance is a connector, find the other way through. Smith's drop down is the Lost Woods hideout, and it only has 5 rupees today. And the Smith house itself is just a shop.
BRB was opting not to buy bombs there. I feel like I would be very tempted to buy bombs in his situation, just to be sure you got that full stock of 10, but find Skull Woods in Kakariko, and we'll be able to see one chest in here.
Yeah, I would definitely want to have more than 2 bombs if I run into Hype Cave or something else there. Jexreffy finds the library in the front of the tavern. Just a map in that first chest in Skullwood's back, and BumRushBlitz takes the Death Warp back out. Spike Cave in the shop in Kakariko. And we have crystals at Eastern and Tower Hera.
Yeah, we found 2 Light World maps early, so very good value map check there.
Brewery in Kid Hut. Nothing of value in there, though. In the back of the tavern is the one entrance that is never, ever, ever randomized, because it's the only entrance that has a door that goes north. Eastern Palace. Eastern Palace, and what is the Chicken Hut normally? I wouldn't be shocked to see our runners head into there after checking all these entrances in Kakariko.
Yeah, I was about to say, not choosing to head into it right away, maybe hoping to find the lamp or the bow, maybe, or bow and big key, that is, to be able to actually finish the thing before going in, but we'll probably see that before too long.
Yeah, both these runners aren't going to have any problems navigating that first dark room with a sword. And there's four items in there for these runners once they get inside.
I swear I'm not going to be that commentator who talks about their seeds all the time, but in my seed for Cross Keys, I found Eastern in Kakariko, went right in, and then my next two checks after I left it were a lamp and a sword, which would have made my Eastern trip so much easier.
Our bottle vendor has a pretty important small key, the single small key to Desert Palace. That'll unlock 2 items in there. As we find Aghanim's Tower very quickly as well here in Kakariko, and Thieves Town. Kakariko is just loaded today with dungeons.
Yeah, it's just got so many entrances. It's not uncommon to see 3 or 4 dungeons in here. And actually pretty friendly ones as far as this goes, not like Ice Palace or something that you find and can't do anything with at the very beginning. So
yeah,
BumRush will be able to check these front 4.
Absolutely, these runners are going to be able to get a lot of items out of these dungeons. 1 out of here in Aghanim's Tower, 1 out of the Skull Woods back entrance, and 4 out of both Thieves Town and Eastern Palace. Just a piece of art, though. It's even better if these runners have the mirror now, as they can just get those first 4 and drop out as BumRushBlitz finds the big key for Turtle Rock inside of Thieves Town.
And another death warp from BumRush. You know, little things can sort of compound themselves, and that mirror is going to save Jexreffy, 3 or 4 seconds every time that he would otherwise have to death warp out of the dungeon.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is one of the 3 entrances to Desert in Blind's Hut, and we also found Ganon in the Kakariko Well.
Yeah, so that right side entrance to Desert makes that small key the bottle vendor was selling a little bit more suspicious, that maybe there is something good on that right side.
Yeah, at the worst, it's a very easy check for these runners. Jack's mirroring out on 1 heart. As BumRushBlitz finds one of our dark caves, and it is not the Old Man Cave, so heading right back out. It couldn't be the Old Man Cave, I don't think. That one has to be on Death Mountain.
Yeah, it could be the normal Death Mountain Ascent Cave, but yeah, not the Old Man Cave itself.
Yeah, once these runners find a lamp, they'll be able to check where that connector goes to.
Ooh, BumRush almost got killed by that first ball and chain guard there, but got in the rhythm for that second one.
Yeah, nicely done. Jexreffy finds the gloves on the right side of Desert, so that key from the bottle vendor is pretty important here.
So Kakariko, a very dangerous place today. 5 dungeons if you count Aghanim's Tower and Ganon. So I think Agina made the right move piecing out to the desert.
Except Agina's here as well.
Oh my gosh, he tried to run away and it just didn't work. Poor guy.
Yep. BumRush was about to get his mitts or his gloves here in just a moment. So this point, the big difference in our routes here in the very beginning is that mirror for Jexreffy that BumRushBlitz has not found, as Jexreffy does find the big chest entrance for Turtle Rock at the teller's.
Yeah, it's another very important one to find since it's the only way to get to the Turtle Rock big chest.
And Lost Woods drop-down is a magic bat, which I believe leaves Kakariko Well to be in the pyramid.
We've also not seen the Vanilla Sanctuary graveyard drop down, so it could still be there. And I think the Useless Fairy is still floating around, right?
Yeah, so it's a 50-50 whether the Useless Fairy drop is in the pyramid or at graveyard.
And a little divergence from our runners here, as BumRushBlitz is opting to follow some of these desert connectors.
Yeah, this is I don't know if I do this or not. You're losing out on a lot of your drop downs. Is Lumberjack is the Useless Fairy. We still have Lumberjack as well. And BumRushBlitz gets dropped out at Ganon's Tower. So that desert entrance is not going to be... it's going to be a good way to get to Dark Death Mountain once you find the Moon Pearl. But right now it's going to leave BumRushBlitz limited on what they can do without a save quit.
Yeah, that is not bad knowledge, though, because once BumRushBlitz finds that mirror, this will also be access to all of Light Death Mountain as well.
Absolutely. And the back of Laser Bridge is the other entrance on the west side of Dark Death Mountain. BumRushBlitz is going to take a Death Warp to get out of Bunny State.
Alright, this is one of those things that cross keys will do to you. How do you feel about your bootless laser skips on 3 hearts? Because that's where you are.
I personally feel very bad about them. But BumRushBlitz gets a full heart container out of the first chest, 300 rupees out of the second chest. There's Zora money. And we find Kakariko Well for Jexreffy in the graveyard. And there's the mitts.
Wow, so both of our runners finding some very interesting things. Jexreffy picking up a couple of keys in that graveyard drop down, but BumRushBlitz sequence breaking those mitts.
Yeah, the Misery Mire big. Also getting Bombos. Having medallions early in the game is really nice. They can usually clear out most of these hard rooms enemies if you get dropped into the Dark World and on very low equipment. And we find the back of Hookshot Cave on BumRushBlitz's side. That being a Light World Hype Cave location. As Jexreffy finds Super Bunny Cave.
Yeah, I believe he saw this one before and opted not to follow the connector, instead finished out the rest of the entrances on the north side. This is another one-way trip through this connector, so he's leaving this for last for this part of the world.
Getting nothing but a GT small and a heart container for his trouble, but we'll see what he gets transferred out to here. It's dropped off into the Village of Outcasts at the C-shaped hut.
Meanwhile, I think BumRushBlitz has found the Death Mountain Ascent Cave. So this will be another way to access Light World Death Mountain.
Jexreffy finds the dam in the chess game of Village Outcasts, but can't get that chest open in its current bunny state. The old man has a big key to Swamp today. One of the less important big keys in the game.
So Jexreffy continuing the bunny walk, checking out what entrances he can. Ooh, hook shot is a nice find for BumRush.
Yeah, it's
Right
really
here
important.
on Death Mountain.
A lot of goodies up here on Death Mountain.
BumRush at half a heart though, so
Jexreffy finding a way to the back of the maze race. We'll see that the entrance is one of the connector caves on Death Mountain, and he's going to go grab this blue mail.
And one cabbage death with the hook shot there, but got hit by another one. And the old man will just let us out right here on Death Mountain. So definitely a very lucky save and quit point to work with here.
Yeah, that Death Mountain drop down, or the old man can put you out just about anywhere in the game. So having it here is very, very convenient. As Jexreffy will take this connector and end up in Waterfall Cave.
All right, BumRush is going to follow that hook shot and show us the east side of Death Mountain.
Yeah, there's a lot of entrances over here. 4 that are accessible. Oh, 5, because he does have the mitts. 5 entrances accessible on this side of the mountain. Meanwhile, Jexreffy is going to take a look at Spiral Cave. As BumRushBlitz finds a way into Hyrule Castle, and is going to save that one for later. Also finds Tower of Hera over here. No big key as of yet, so won't be able to make too much progress, but does find the powder.
And I mean, we do have the hook shot. I honestly don't know if BumRushBlitz is a dirty Harry Potter, but you could get up and kill Moldorm with that glitch right now.
Yeah, that is a possibility.
I say dirty Harry Potter. I definitely am a dirty Harry Potter, so you know, why not?
It looks like he is a dirty Harry Potter, as he is setting up, getting rid of some of these enemies, and trying to set up this bomb clip into the pot. Meanwhile, Jexreffy has found his way over to Dark Death Mountain, right-hand side, taking the Mimic Cave ledge to check the entrances over here. Successfully Harry-potted there for BumRushBlitz. Well done.
And Jexreffy finding Hype Cave, but manages a little Super Bunny with the mirror there to get the item off of the NPC, but cannot use a bomb to get to the 4 items in the back, unfortunately.
Jexreffy also finds that entrance over to Hyrule Castle. This BumRushBlitz is going to go take on Moldorm here.
Yeah, and BumRush found the left entrance to Hyrule Castle down at the bottom of Light Death Mountain, so... Oh yeah, chat's correcting me. Jexreffy didn't have to do the Mirror Super Bunny to get that. You can just always talk to the NPC. I think he just forgot that and had to go back in.
Jexreffy's going to head to the back of Escape here. Dark rooms aren't that hard to navigate. It can be a little tricky, the second room here. But shouldn't be too much trouble with Blue. As BumRushBlitz gets Moldorm taken down, is going to get that first crystal. And gets 3 bombs for his troubles, but is up at 22 minutes, 1 crystal to none.
Yep, gets through the NMG fight there with Just Fighter Sword.
Just a piece of heart in the Dark Cross for Jexreffy. I would guess he's going to make his way to the downstairs part of the escape pit. And we'll see if he wants to take a connector out of here afterwards. As as BumRushBlitz gets off of Death Mountain and ends up at Dark Lumberjack. The boots for Jexreffy in the back of in the first part of Escape. That's a big find.
Yep, and you have to think BumRushBlitz will be going there next because he's out of entrances on Death Mountain, so we'll probably head back into Hyrule Castle right now.
Yeah, without that mirror, BumRushBlitz is just going to head to the escape portion and then probably just death warp back to get the Dark Cross item.
And as his teammate, I will definitely say I hope this makes him think of back of escape also. Since we know the mirror is there, I want him to find that as soon as possible.
Meanwhile, Jexreffy finds a small key to Ice Palace. In the past, that was actually a pretty important key to speed up the dungeon, but if Jexreffy knows how to do Icebreaker and has the Key of Samaria at that point, or knows how to do the bomb setup, it has become much less important to find that first Ice Palace key.
Yeah, although it can save you a little bit of time just because the you don't have to go back and hit the switch necessarily if you have the keys to be able to sort of walk around things, but that's a minor time save.
Indeed, and Jexreffy's going to take the front entrance. We've not seen where this drops out. It goes up to the top of Death Mountain. So all three Hyrule Castle entrances today are on Death Mountain. Get a peek at what's on the floating island here. Not appear to be anything of major value. And BumRushBlitz does take that Death Warp and is probably going to head over to the back of Escape now, or the Dark Cross chest. Without a small key, he's not going to be able to make it to the back of Escape.
Yeah, that connection to the top of Death Mountain through Hyrule Castle was pretty nice. You could just kind of use that like it was Paradox Cave to get back and forth.
Yeah, it'll be very nice for our runners if that Turtle Rock entrance comes into play. Jexreffy choosing not to do Harapot. And unfortunately for Jex, he doesn't have a good way from over here to get over the west side of Death Mountain where that hookshot's at. Nor does he have those mitts to go check the two caves on the east side of Death Mountain and the Dark World. You're absolutely right, he does not have the hookshot yet. So BumRushBlitz is going to head to the drop down here. And find the back of the Escape where he's going to get his mirror.
Definitely a good choice. The boots were a good time to do this check since it was not going to get any faster than boots.
So at this point, we're in very similar states for both these runners. BumRushBlitz does have the advantage of having that hook shot and a crystal. Neither our runners have found that Moon Pearl yet, as Jexreffy finds access to another item here from the Spectral Rock Connector. It's a map, which is going to pick up a little bit more information.
And BumRush is heading back to the South Shore area. He sort of got diverted here when he found the connector, the old man cave. So he's going to go check out the Ice Rod Cave area. We'll see if he wants to fake flipper. He is at 488 rupees right now.
Yeah, meanwhile, Jexreffy finding Kiki Skip Cave and getting dropped out in the front entrance of Desert. Nowhere to go there. And BumRushBlitz finds the top of Paradox Cave and is going to hype in. There's 7 items to find here. He can just bomb jump back up to the top when he needs to, so won't get diverted to another location unless he chooses to. There is that Moon Pearl in Paradox Cave. Big find for BumRushBlitz. He finds a small key to Turtle Rock as well. That Moon Pearl puts those mitts back in a logic form as well.
Yeah, and also means he can chase that connector through Waterfall Cave if he wants to, which would get him to that blue mail.
And Jexreffy on the other side picks up the lamp out of Bonkroc's being Waterfall Cave today. That's going to make that one connector in Kakariko much more traversable. And with Boots, Jex is going to check out the torch item here in Desert, along with the other available chest.
Yeah, and most importantly, this is going to probably find him that connector up through Ganon's tower and lead him to that hook shot.
Just a Thieves Town compass in the map chest. And BumRushBlitz is going to give us our first look at the rest of Village Outcasts. His chess game has moved just a few feet away where it picks up the cape. That'll open up a connector and potentially the Spike Cave item once he finds the hammer. And inside Thieves Town is the Mimic Cave bridge entrance for Turtle Rock. And BumRushBlitz will actually get to open up the dam here, and he finds a Master Sword inside the dam. Jexreffy was here earlier, but without the Moon Pearl, wasn't able to grab that item.
Yeah, this is where you start to breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief as you get out of the low percent part of your cross keys run and have some actual equipment and things.
Yeah, meanwhile, Jexreffy does get out of Desert at the Ganon Tower entrance. Finds Ether and Red Mail inside Tower Hera, where the Pyramid Fairy sits today.
Yeah, which BumRushBlitz was not able to do. If he needs Ether for anything, it might be a while to get back to that one, and he'll probably be dealing without that armor for quite a bit as well. We'll get his blue mail right now.
Yeah, he's going to pick up an upgrade here, though, with the blue mail.
Got some more map information there from Jexreffy, as Turtle Rock is one of our red crystals today, and Ice is another crystal.
Jack's choosing to pick up a couple hearts in that telepathic tile cave.
Question in chat. Yes, holding any item will prevent you from going through a Dark World portal if you want to walk back through one, as BumRush did there. Very handy little trick.
Jex gets the info that Sarasala is very close to his normal location, but still hasn't found the cave to rescue him yet. There it is. Jexreffy's gonna go get the old man and get led to the hook shot here, as BumRushBlitz with those mids is gonna take our Smith on a little tour. I don't remember if BumRush found the Smith's entrance or not. I know.
I
Yeah,
think so.
Yeah, it was the witch hut, so you checked that very early. That is a long tour you're going to have to take with this Smith. At least you can run with him.
Yeah, so Jexreffy is going to clear out Western Death Mountain here. BumRush will be able to see a lot of entrances on the South Shore since he is equipped with that mirror now. Can see Cave 45, Bonk Rocks. Might even head down to the normal Swamp Palace entrance and see what the sunken treasure item is that's uncovered once you pull the dam lever.
Yeah, a ton of stuff for BumRushBlitz to do down here before escorting Smith back home. Ice Rod Cave here at Cave 45 with just some bombs in it. Jex is going to take this connector and see where it heads out. This is, I suspect it's the connector we saw earlier, though, with how they were able to move through the cave, the dark cave they saw earlier in the game. Meanwhile, BumRushBlitz in the Dark World finds Thieves' Hut, or Blind's Hut, behind the bomb shop. And I was wrong. And the hair is small. That'll unlock another item once he finds that lamp.
And flippers as well for BumRush. That will mean he can loop in some of those Zora and Zora's Domain checks while he's delivering the Smith up to the potion shop. That's very nice.
Yeah, it'll also give him access to those 3 entrances in the Dark World Ice Rod area of the shopping mall.
Yeah, so the back of Old Man's Cave led out at the graveyard ledge. Jexreffy is going to show us this other dark connector. Ooh, Bumper Ledge is a very important connector to find because it's the only way to get to this entrance that Jexreffy is checking right now.
Just upgrade cave today, and Jex is going to pick up a few more bombs and a few more arrows.
BumRushBlitz finds Palace of Darkness in Hype Cave's normal location. Only one small key, so there's not a whole lot that can be done right now, but can definitely check out a few things. BumRush has a bottle, but oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's in BumRush's bottle, whether he can bottle glitch past the mimics. But worst comes worst, he can check one more item, a couple more items here in the lobby and downstairs in the Southwest pit.
Yeah, and if there's one thing I've learned about cross keys, it's that there is always a pod small key in pod. So, you know, your mileage may vary on that one, but there's a non-zero chance that you're going to find an extra key while you're in here.
There is a small key there, but it is for Turtle Rock, as BumRushBlitz will head down to the Southwest pit to see what this last item is. Ice Palace Big Key, which could be important if our runners choose to do Icebreaker and don't have that key in Samaria. Jex is going to check out some of these mirror spots. Whereas BumRushBlitz having that Moon Pearl is able to do a full clear of this area. As BumRushBlitz does find mini Moldarm caves, 5 more items.
No, we would still need Kane to do Icebreaker. We're just sort of thinking ahead that the keys come in handy if you find yourself in a position where you can do Icebreaker in Ice Palace.
Yeah, BumRushBlitz does find Tempered Sword in the Swamp Palace entrance. That's another piece of equipment that Jex is going to miss out on not having this Moon Pearl. And Jex is starting to fall further and further behind here in the start of the seed.
Yeah, cross keys can be so random like this sometimes because Jexreffy continued north, found some really good stuff up there like the lamp and a couple of good entrances, but BumRushBlitz went south and found his Moon Pearl right away, so that's really coming in handy for him right now.
Skullwood Small will help him avoid being trapped in an area, but one of the least important small keys.
All right, this might get Jexreffy where he needs to go, because that Paradox entrance was in the Ice Rod Cave area, so if he decides to check out South Shore while he is right here...
Instead, it looks like he's going to check out these desert area entrances first. There's a couple over here. Another pod small for BumRushBlitz.
And I do know BumRushBlitz can hammer yump without too much trouble, so that second pod small key opens up a lot of things in the back of Palace of Darkness. We'll see if he wants to go back right now, or might be headed toward the Dark Shopping Mall area.
And Jexreffy finding Strasso's hut and finding a bow and a shield, but also finding out the Palace of Darkness is our green pendant today. There are 3 more entrances for BumRushBlitz to check here, and this frog's getting a workout. This frog is getting his cardio in today.
Yeah, and BumRush is just going to clear out every entrance on the east side of Dark World here on his way to turning in this Smith. So I hope you signed up for an adventure and brought some snacks there, Jeremiah.
Find sick kid who just gives him a little piece of his heart. And the big one, Ganon's Tower. Not gonna be able to do a lot here, just the 2 hope chests and the torch. But knowing that this is here, this is big information once you find a little bit more equipment.
Oh, but boy, what a god-awful place for GT. Just such a long trip to get here, and you're not going to want to kind of come back for just a few more chests after you get Kane or after you get Hammer. Ooh, there's our second bow.
Yeah, first bow for BumRushBlitz on the torch here in Ganon's Tower is going to pick up the small key and mirror out. Meanwhile, Jexreffy has found Hookshot Cave and is going to put this hookshot to good use. Finding a map he doesn't need. A key that could be important. Heart container. And a compass. So, not a lot there. It does open up one more item at Agnum's Tower.
And a clever little bit of routing there from BumRush, using that whirlpool in Southeastern Dark World that you don't see used very often, to not have to swim all the way back out of the Dark Ice Rod area, and finds the Thieves Town big key for turning in Jeremiah.
That's a pretty good find. And now BumRushBlitz is going to chain this out and check out Catfish, check out this shop.
Did he go in the Dark Potion Shop entrance?
I don't think so. It'll probably go in on the way back.
Yeah, I guess you can mirror and do Zora's domain stuff, and then hit that on the way back out, assuming he is headed to Pyramid, mirror off the top of the Pyramid, pod area, etc., etc.
Yeah, there's just so much for BumRushBlitz to do right now. He's really well equipped for this trip. You know, Jexreffy finally getting to the Ice Rod Cave area is gonna pick up that Moon Pearl finally. A map on the ledge. We'll see if BumRushBlitz wants to grab that or not.
Question in chat. So, GT is in the Dark World version of the entrance that Jexreffy went right into. So, same cave, one dimension over for Ganon's Tower.
And meanwhile, BumRushBlitz gets scammed by Zora, just getting a piece of heart for those 500 rupees. He's going to pick up this map and grab a little bit more information. Gets the Desert Palace, which is our other 5/6 crystal.
So just for comedic effect, Jexreffy opening that chest in Paradox Cave last, delaying his Moon Pearl as long as possible.
This is a good way out for him, though, as it takes him to Dark Death Mountain, the east side top. So he's going to check a couple entrances here. We see that Charter Rock's entrance is Ether. Jexreffy has that Ether. BumRushBlitz is kind of isolated up in Tower Hera.
Yeah, now that he's got some equipment and can deal with those Lionels on the bridge, he might be thinking about heading through that connector over to the Dark Death Mountain area. So we'll see how soon he gets back there.
Jexreffy taking a risk taking the Bumper Cave connector and gets dropped off very close to his original location, so not too bad. Does pick up this map for Ganon's Tower. That is unfortunate. You know what, we're going to check out what's on top of Hyrule Castle as BumRushBlitz is up to the pyramid and is going to mirror across. That is an obnoxious location for Potion Shop. So Jax just has danced around the location of those mitts for quite a bit here without actually getting over to them. Meanwhile, the Hyrule Castle entrances are a big old bust for BumRushBlitz.
Yeah, so he's got the Eastern and Pod areas to do. Pretty convenient that he had not done Eastern before he got here, so he can just mirror while he's in the Pod area.
Yeah, and chat asking about the quick swap in the items here. That is one of the allowed features in Entrance Randomizer, is the ability to use quick swap.
Okay, I was just about to yell at BumRush to go back and mirror for Hobo, but he remembered.
Yeah, smart piece of routing here. Hobo is one of those checks that it takes forever to get to, other than this exact way. It gets paid off with blue goo.
Probably won't need that anymore since he's at Blue Mail and Tempered Sword, but thanks, I guess.
You're never going to complain about getting blue medicine, I don't think. There's that hammer for Jexreffy.
That's another thing you're never going to complain about.
It's interesting that BumRushBlitz kind of skipped this location when he was walking the Smith around.
Yeah, he found his kind of Dark World access through Paradox Cave, which let him out at Hammer Pegs, and he just kind of headed south out of Village of Outcasts. He might head back across the north side after he is done in the pod area, or he might just kind of reset and go back into the Dark World in Village of Outcasts at some point. So hard to say what he's planning for checking those entrances along the top of the world.
Yeah, meanwhile, Jexreffy checking out King's Tomb and finding a big old nothing burger.
So we do find Ice Palace in the Dark Flute 5 cave and Misery Mire on the other side of that cave.
Yeah, a lot of dungeons in a very closed-in area. That's really the runner's benefit if you can find a bunch of these dungeons close to each other. Once you get everything you need, you can just sort of bang out these dungeons real quick.
Yep, BumRush not having any interest in doing those right now. No real us at all. He has no fire source and no keys, so not a whole lot that he can get to in there right now. So, gonna come back later.
Yeah, Jexreffy is gonna head into Skull Woods. So Skull Woods randomizes the entrances within itself, other than the entrance in the very back. The entrance in the very back is part of the main randomization pool, but all the other entrances in Skull Woods stay in Skull Woods. So we're going to be seeing a lot of Skull Woods here. With no small key, Jexreffy can only check one chest from that entrance.
Yeah, the drop downs and normal entrances are so interlocked in Skull Woods, it would just make sort of no sense to shuffle in the drop downs with all of the other ones.
And our boy Kiki is paying, letting BumRushBlitz pay 110 rupees for the privilege of entering Turtle Rock from the front.
All right, so BumRush pretty much checked off all the entrances in the pod area and is resetting to Death Mountain. And yeah, looks like he wants to head up to the top of the mountain. He will likely go straight to that Hera entrance right now.
Yeah, he'll pick up his ether there. Jexreffy gets one chest out of Skull Woods. Only finds a piece of heart for his trouble. We'll pick up a small key here, mirror back, and head back to the other set of entrances and get a couple more items out of the way. BumRushBlitz also getting that red mail. BumRushBlitz also choosing to turn that bean into something. I missed what he got for his troubles.
I believe he got a big ol' nothing for his troubles.
But bottle filled and money saved, right? There's our last sword. Jexreffy gets on to Master Sword with that. BumRushBlitz has found the other two swords. Jex finds one of the most important keys in the game, the Swamp Palace small key.
And anybody out there who's a little bit new to the Link to the Past randomizer, that small key that Jexreffy just found in the pinball room of Skull Woods was guaranteed to always be there up until V31. It is still there in Entrance Rando since it's built on a different code base. And so they're forked a little bit from each other.
Chad asking about Skull Woods being a pendant or a crystal. We don't know. We only know Pod is a green pendant and Ice and Turtle Rock are both crystals. Jexreffy taking the laser entrance in Turtle Rock, and it's going to check out a chest or two here. BumRush choosing to pick up some more blue goo. And this Pokey is getting away from Jax here with his key. Hate to see it.
Pokey takes damage from the Master Sword has never made sense. Ooh, Ice Rod that Jexreffy finds.
Ice Rod in the lava bridge. It does mean that potentially all 4 Turtle Rock keys might be needed if runners bump a door by accident, because that lava bridge is one you would hope to skip. But in this time, we're not going to be able to do that with how one of our required items is there.
Yeah, although Jexreffy did just save 1 key by going backwards through this door, so that's a key he's not going to spend at any point.
Jack's going to take the Death Warp here. I might have tried to go get that last key from... I guess it's key for key, so it doesn't matter. Jax does have the Turtle Rock big, so can go and get the item from the Crystal Roller chest as well.
And so BumRushBlitz followed a Hookshot Cave, which got him into the north side of the Dark World. So this will be a good opportunity for him to clear out all these checks on the north side that Jexreffy did just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, about to get his hammer here. Just 10 arrows in the Crystal Roller chest for Jexreffy, and that'll be all he can do in Turtle Rock at this point. Okay, just 50 rupees at the big chest in Turtle Rock. So at this point, Jexreffy is still on the hunt for those mitts. We know that they are on the west side of Dark Death Mountain, at the laser bridge entrance to Turtle Rock.
There is Swamp.
Swamp is in behind the hammer pegs in, or the peg house in Village Outcasts. Jexreffy has not found those flippers yet. BumRushBlitz has them. So once BumRushBlitz finds that entrance, he'll be able to full clear that dungeon.
Okay, so Skull Woods is another one of our crystals. Geez, how many is that accounted for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow.
And BumRushBlitz finds the lamp, which is gonna open up that second Aghanim Tower item if he wants it. fire source and makes Misery Mire and Ice Palace, not Ice Palace doesn't have Bombos yet, but the Misery Mire play becomes a little bit more palatable.
Question in chat of when Crossworld plus Key Sanity ends. If the question is about the league, today is the last day of Cross Keys races in the league. If you're talking about the particular seed, you have to beat all 7 crystal dungeons and then defeat Ganon. You do not necessarily have to climb Ganon's tower, although it very often has a lot of good items in it.
Not always, though. I was lucky enough yesterday to call a seed where Ganon's tower was at Ganon's tower.
That's pretty convenient.
Yeah.
Alright, so there's a good find for BumRushBlitz. He finds Bombos there, which Jexreffy got quite a while ago, that Mire Big Key, and so now he might be a lot more tempted by that Mire Ice Palace area over at the Flute 5 spot, since he can full clear ice. He's got a fire source, so he can do pretty much everything in Mire except defeat Vitreous.
Yeah, that's a lot of checks for him to do once he gets back over that area, and that's got to be a lot more tempting location now.
So BumRush will see that as the back of the Old Man Cave. And yeah, Jexreffy with those flippers now also has some more options available to him. And yeah, chat pointing out a few seconds ago that Jexreffy did find the Hype Cave when he did not have the Moon Pearl, and so could not check the 4 items in the back. I believe that was at the what's normally the Laser Eye entrance of Turtle Rock, so the left side of the Mimic Cave bridge in the Dark World, which he connected to through, I think, the normal right side entrance of that bridge, but I forget quite how he got there.
Yeah, hopefully he remembers. BumRushBlitz, noticing that this is the Magic Bat drop down, does have the powder. We'll get to see what that is here shortly. Maybe. Yeah, BumRushBlitz is going to check this powder out before taking Super Bunny Cave.
Well, I think BumRush has already found the other side of Super Bunny Cave. I'm not sure. It's a little surprising that he's left Lost Woods for this long, but it's worked out for him pretty well.
And meanwhile, Jexreffy gets his Tempered Sword at the swamp entrance. And the Magic Bat has some more blue potion for us, so plenty of safety for BumRushBlitz.
So this will be interesting. Jexreffy will have Hammer when he finds GT here in a couple of minutes over in the Dark Ice Rod Cave area. So he will be able to do the full left side all the way through to Ice Armos. Oh, well, just one small key. I'd have to stop and think how far you can get on one small key.
I think you can get all the way across. There are 2 small keys in pots. So I think you can get all the way to Ice Armos with just one small key.
Yeah, I guess the worst case is he would just have to skip one chest in the fire bar room
Right.
if he had to. But yeah, I think he'll be okay key-wise.
BumRushBlitz finds the last sword for him, the Butter Sword, as Jexreffy heads into Ganon's tower.
So yeah, this could be very big for Jex in a very out-of-the-way location for BumRush at this point. So if he finds any sort of progression in here, that'll be an advantage he's got for a while, I would guess.
Yeah, he's going to pick up these silvers here. Nothing in Dark Magician room. Look at the door in the firebar room. That'll open up the 2 tablet checks, but we already know the desert entrance is not particularly useful.
And BRB retreading some more ground that Jex has already seen with these Turtle Rock checks. I seem to recall nothing much of interest in here other than the ice rod at the lava chest.
Quake medallion for Jexreffy, so a Misery Mire entrance is guaranteed to be open once he can find a way over.
Yeah, good point from GFE in chat. Logically speaking, that Book of Mudora is locked behind every single GT small key, since you could use your keys in other places if you wanted to, and lock yourself out of that room, so...
2 pot smalls and an Eastern big, that is a pretty big room for Rando room. And Jax will make his way over to Ice Armos and Bob's chest. We'll look at 4 more items here. Or 5, because he also has the GT Big. We can take a look at that big chest. One of the fun parts of Key Sanity, Cross Key specifically, is getting to see this one. It's just a GT Small in there today. BumRushBlitz finding Eastern Palace. I don't remember if Jax went through this or not.
Yeah, we talked about how our runners were probably going to go in there at some point, but I think BumRushBlitz got distracted by Desert Palace. I do not recall what Jexreffy did after finding this one.
Yeah, I don't think Jexreffy went through this either, so this is going to be new territory for both our runners. Second Agnes Tower key. Likely, I think definitely useless at this point. I don't think there's anything valuable at Lumberjack. BumRushBlitz choosing to leave after just 2 chests.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. I like it. Basically treating it like an overworld location with 2 chests in it, but not going to dive all the way into the back without that big key.
Yeah, it's a very interesting strategy. Chat asking if we found Ganon yet. Yeah, Ganon is chilling out in Kakariko Well today. A little awkward spot for BumRushBlitz here is he's choosing to exit Spike Cave instead of saving and quitting.
So those numbers in the trackers are the number of small keys that our runners have found. So Jexreffy has found both of the Castle Tower small keys, and BumRushBlitz has only found one. The second one was in Ganon's tower, which BumRushBlitz was locked out of by not having the hammer before when he found GT originally.
Jexreffy doing some hammer pegging here. And it's just the middle entrance of Paradox Cave.
And BumRush is going to show off a little bit more cross keys or entrance specific tech. Going to do this room without the fire rod by bomb jumping across the gap up here. Ooh,
That was close.
Just barely dodges that Wallmaster.
Jexreffy heading into Ganon's tower again for some reason. Looks like he's gonna head upstairs.
Yeah, in non-entrance, it's impossible to be where BumRush is without the fire rod, so you would never need to do that. But yeah, Jexreffy deciding that the climb is the play to make while he's in the area. You definitely get more tempted to do this by the fact that it's such a pain to get back to, that if there's anything here, you want to get it now and not have to come back.
BumRushBlitz with a nice kill on Mothula. Picks up just 20 rupees, but does pick up crystal number 2, taking a 2 crystal on the lead.
And this GT climb is a really high variance play. It can definitely make or break your run sometimes. If there's something important at the top of the tower, it's absolutely worth it, and otherwise it's a lot of wasted time.
Yeah, there's only 4 chests up here, and it takes a long time to get to them. But if there is something that's progression up the stairs, it's probably be a long while before BumRushBlitz heads back over to Ganon's tower. Marcus asking, or chat asking, what is in the pyramid? According to my notes, I think the only drop-down location we have not seen is Lumberjack Ledge, so that's what's going to be inside the pyramid today. So that may be coloring Jex's decision-making here, as getting through Ganon's tower is going to be another item, so 5 items is a part of this climb. It will also loop him into those Hyrule Castle checks, which unfortunately for him we know are kind of garbage, but it is 3 more locations for Jex to check off his list.
Yeah, and I'm not sure he's seen any of the pod area things just yet, so he might be thinking about sort of looping in everything on the way and just kind of finishing off the whole eastern part of the Dark World all at once right now.
Yeah, he'll get rewarded for that with Ice Palace and Misery Mire being in that area. He won't be able to full clear Ice Palace without that big key. But we'll get the dungeon taken care of and get most of Misery Mire done as well.
Yeah, that cane is a really big item that has been eluding our runners so far, so that's preventing us from finishing Misery Mire or Turtle Rock at this point, and of course the Fire Rod as well for that pesky Trinex.
Yeah, with Turtle Rock being a crystal, we know that both of those items are required. I think that is everything our runners are looking for at this point, and the Desert Palace Big Key. But I think that everything else has been acquitted for.
Yeah, there's always a chance we'll need an odd item like, you know, maybe Quake to get into the Vanilla Mire entrance to get somewhere we need to go, but
Jex getting
runners actually have to
rejected
feel.
as BumRushBlitz finishes off the line. This is a desert dungeon prize we don't know yet. It's just a pendant.
That's gonna sting for BumRush because he found the Thieves Town map, but was not in the Dark World to be able to check it, and then just decided there's 4 items back there. Well, I guess 3 since he doesn't have the Thieves Town small key. Just went ahead and finished the dungeon anyway, but didn't really pay off, unfortunately.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this torture room is very tricky when you don't have the fire rod and you have to actually light that bottom torch with your lamp.
Ho, scrapes through.
Jex almost gets rejected a second time. And I don't believe that Jex has any potions. We'll get a couple fairies here to turn in, anti-fairies to turn into fairies here shortly. Good knowledge there and being able to edge out to the edge of that drop down. Oh
no.
That is a terrible, terrible place to take a death. That is the worst place to take a death.
And not only did you just lose all of that time, that's a big tilter. Like, it's so hard to just collect yourself after that and think about what's the next decision I need to make. You just have to put that behind you and see what you're going to do next. So it looks like Jex is deciding that the climb is a lost cause. He's just going to bet on there not being anything up there, and he's going to resume the rest of his exploration.
Meanwhile, BumRushBlitz is in Swamp and has not found anything in the first 2 chests, but has the tools to full clear everything except for the big... Or no, he has the big key as well, so he'll be able to full clear everything here.
Yeah, I did not see if he did a map check before going in, because I think this seems to still be an unknown prize, so I don't know if he checked to see what Mire was, to see if we could figure out Swamp by process of elimination, but according to our tracker, he did not.
No, so we will find out shortly whether this is pendant number 3 or crystal number 7.
I mean, either way, there's 10 items in Swamp, so even if it's a pendant, it's definitely worth thinking about and probably doing, so...
BumRush grabbing this key here, so no diver down.
I'll have to whip him into shape before spoiler week.
It's really become a weird new world of rando racing. With Icebreaker and Diver Down, and how people routed these dungeons before versus how they've been routed in the last month or 2.
Yeah, and Diver Down is a trick that looks kind of strange, but it's really fairly easy to learn. There's a lot of tricks like that in Link to the Past that are sort of precise, but I don't think they're really hard. So they're definitely one that anybody can learn to do if they invest a little bit of time into it. So, question in chat about Kane for Diver Down. There is also a bomb setup where you just sort of knock yourself into the rail and it clips you in just enough. So.
Jack's going through Spike Cave and getting unrewarded for his trouble, whereas BumRushBlitz gets just a piece of heart, gets the refill there. Still nothing out of Swamp on the left-hand side.
I was going to say a minute ago, too, BumRushBlitz is in full dungeon clearing mode. He's sort of found a bunch of entrances, has cleared out most of the world, and now just wants to dive into all of these dungeons that he can finish and see what they have. Hopefully crystals for him, but at least some items. So he's back in Kakariko, clearing out the bevy of dungeons that we have here, and it looks like Jexreffy's mind is kind of in the same place.
Yeah, Jexreffy still has not gotten those mitts from Laser Bridge and Turtle Rock, but so far it doesn't appear that the mitts have led anywhere.
Yeah, mitts lock very little in entrance randomizer. I mean, like the vanilla Ice Palace entrance, there are a couple of other entrances that they will open up for you, but we found connectors to backdoor most of those, or with the mirror to get places like King's Tomb, so...
Yeah, the only thing, like you said, is the Ice Palace entrance, and we still haven't found a flute, so we don't have a consistent way to... We've not found a way into the mire area otherwise, so those mitts might be the only way into mire, as far as we know.
So Jexreffy going to show us the rest of Eastern Palace, since he does have...
Yeah, he's got that Eastern Palace big key. He's going to be able to clear this whole thing out. BumRushBlitz still needs to find that. As we're going to see Argus, and we're going to find out whether this is a pendant or a crystal here in short order. BumRush trying that quick kill strategy, getting bullied a bit by Argus, but gets most of the puffs down into the first.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to practice the one-cycle tempered Argus fight, try it with Butter Sword first, because you can just hold out your sword and do the same hookshot timings to kind of get some practice with that. But, oh, third pendant for BumRushBlitz there.
That means Mire is our last crystal. And that means chat's about to get very excited, as Pedestal is now less of a pipe dream and more of a reality. As our last two items can be pretty much anywhere in the game. That Desert Palace Big Key and that Fire Rod are not locking much.
Yeah, I'd be looking at Ice Palace right now. BumRushBlitz has still not been to the sort of desert approach area where Sahasrara is, so it looks like he's going to pick up that along with turning in the purple chest right now. And honestly, BumRush might be thinking about heading back over to Ganon's Tower from this position, since he is in the Dark World on this part of the map, and he does have the hammer now to open up the left side.
He's gonna leave his portal there and check out these desert entrances. He's gonna find his silvers here pretty soon. BumRushBlitz finding one of the cuter idiosyncrasies of this game. If you start your dash directly towards one of those breakable walls, the tile right next to it, it doesn't break. You have to start your dash in a different direction and then angle it back over.
Oh, a big key at Sunken Treasure. Oh, there's the Desert Big.
That's a big find. Jex hasn't been to that area. Jex found the dam, wasn't able to open it because he didn't have the Moon Pearl.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly where that was. Somewhere in Village of Outcasts, maybe? Like chest game, I want to say, but yes. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was in Village of Outcasts. Jex makes it through Eastern Palace. Nothing of note in those last locations that BumRushBlitz skipped, but he does get his first crystal. BumRushBlitz and Pod has a bow, has some more keys. I wonder if he's gonna beat this out. It is Halmasaur King is worth 3 items here, being the green pendant and the third pendant for BumRushBlitz.
Yeah, and since he knows exactly where Sahasrara is, it's going to be a pretty fast check to get to that item if he wants to. And once again, there are just so many stinking items in Pod, like you can't really skip out on it.
For sure. 14
Yeah, just the question of
dungeon.
Yeah, and the question is just, does he go all the way to Helmasaur? But as you said, Helmasaur is effectively 3 items at this point, which is pretty tempting.
Yeah, meanwhile, on Jexreffy's side, he's going for this bomb jump as well that we saw BumRushBlitz pull off a little bit earlier. And his first attempt did not go great. Does get it on the second try, and is going to rush through and light these torches to get to Mothula.
Yeah, you can line up that vertical pixel either with the spin setup, that's very common in bomb jumps, or if you just line up with the wall to the left of it and go up as far as you can and then move right, that will put you on the right pixel as well.
Honestly, if I was BumRushBlitz in this situation, I probably would have rushed Helmasaur, gotten the boss kill, and then come back in, clear some items out, and mirrored out.
Yeah, just routing-wise, it's pretty tempting to do it from the right-hand side. So go through the right-hand side, get those 2 chests, and go straight to Helma from there.
Yeah, Jexreffy getting a not-so-cooperative Mothula is really enjoying living by spikes. Does get it done, though. There's the Cane of Samaria in Palace of Darkness. We are 1 item away on BumRush's side from Go Mode, that Fire Rod.
Yeah, though he does need to go back to GT and pick up that Eastern Palace Big Key, but that cane means the basement is totally open to him right now, so that's going to be a very appealing option.
What if Fire Rod is upstairs in Ganon's tower?
That's a bad thought. I think that would feel really bad for Jexreffy if that happened. It is worth noting Fire Rod can't be locked behind the right side of GT, since it is kind of a complicated sequence break to be able to do that full right side of GT with just the lamp.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest bomb jumps in the game, getting that conveyor jump to get past the torture room on the right-hand side. But Fire Rod could still be upstairs. Could be anywhere upstairs.
Yeah, like many things in Zelda games, that bomb jump would be pretty easy if there weren't for things shooting at you and wall masters dropping down every few seconds.
BumRushBlitz choosing not to go to Helma here as he gets the Tower of Hera Big Key. That will unlock 1 item for him as he did beat the boss already. He'll just unlock that big chest.
Yeah, it just means that crystal he got an hour ago is in logic now.
And it looks like BumRushBlitz is going to head back over to Ganon's tower.
And actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like actually the right side of the GT basement cannot be anything helpful, because the only thing that we need for no mode is that Fire Rod, and it's all logically Fire Rod locked.
That's correct. I'm kind of surprised that BumRushBlitz is making this play over the Ice Mire loop, now that he can full clear both those dungeons and they're both crystals.
Yeah, that is definitely true. I can tell you, though, some back channel information here. We have definitely talked a lot about how in cross keys GT just always has something, so he might be just very tempted by this giant pile of items down here in the basement.
That is fair. And Chad also bringing up a good point. The tile room can have fire rods. That is the one item, the one location that is cane locked that could have the fire rod. Jexreffy finally getting back to the dam here is going to pick up his butter sword. And that will also lead him eventually to the Desert Palace Pig. It can also beat Swamp, so this is a really good time to get back there. Jexreffy checks his map, sees that Meyer is that last crystal. How convenient is this? Swamp being right next to the dam.
Yeah, sometimes cross keys is nice to us.
So we got a couple of minutes here as both our runners are treading over known roads. Reset a little bit here. We're looking at 2 crystals apiece at this point between our 2 runners. BumRushBlitz does have 2 of those pendant dungeons completed. We don't know. We don't know if that pedestal has that fire rod, which is the only item we have left for no mode between our 2 runners. But the one big advantage we see right here is BumRushBlitz has completed more dungeons, has about the same equipment, but has a bit more knowledge of what's going to need to be done. I don't think Jexreffy has even been over to the pod area to see those dungeon locations.
Yeah, that can actually sometimes be a help in entrance rando, though, because if takes you forever to find a dungeon, as long as you find it in a reasonable amount of time, then you can just full clear it as soon as you find it, whereas BumRushBlitz is going to have to trek back there at some point. Probably hoping to find the flute, since that would make that a very quick trip to those 2 dungeons.
That is true. The other big advantage is BumRushBlitz has found this Key of Samaria, which Jexreffy has not. It's buried fairly deep in Pendant Palace of Darkness.
And now we'll see what decisions BumRush makes about the rest of GT. He is just Fire Rod from Go mode. I will see if he realizes that. It's really hard to keep track of that in the middle of a cross keys race when you're keeping so many other things in your head. So we'll see if he decides to skip the right-hand side of GT because of that, or maybe just, doesn't want to do that terrible bomb jump to sequence break the right side.
BumRushBlitz choosing to dance around the tiles instead of just equipping the cape. One of the fun things about the cape is if you're grabbing onto a wall, it won't drain your magic bar while you're holding on there. Just 20 rupees, and BumRushBlitz does realize that the right-hand side can't have anything else, and is going to head upstairs.
Yeah, so actually, a good point in chat. I don't think we do know where the back of Desert entrance is. So there is a chance, actually, that there are still items that we need that are Fire Rod locked. So it could be something like the flute is Fire Rod locked to get us to the Desert entrance in the Mire area, or something along those lines. But BumRush is going to go ahead and do the GT climb as well.
We'll see if he can survive these 4. He does have a whole bunch of blue potions, so I won't be surprised if he's pretty liberal in using those.
That's looks like the 5th pod key for Jexreffy. He will most likely be heading to pod very soon to pick up his cane. That might also have been why BumRushBlitz skipped out on Helmasaur. Without all the pod smalls, it was not in logic yet, but I don't know, you can get yourself into trouble making decisions like that, so I'm not sure if that's actually what he was thinking at the time.
Yeah, and BumRushBlitz through Gauntlet, heading upstairs, heading to the point where Jexreffy had some issues near the end of this floor. Jexreffy taking on Argus with his Butter Sword. Not going to get the 1 cycle, but making pretty quick work of Argus.
Snipes that arrow into Argus to finish him off. We'll get the bad news of the pendant dropping.
BumRush much cleaner through this torch room. You can tell that he's had a bit more experience doing that room without a fire rod than Jexreffy did earlier.
Alright, so far Jexreffy off the hook for that unfortunate death he took up here. But a couple more checks left.
Just a heart container in that chest, and we'll see a Moldorm fight. Jexreffy taking Spiral Cave connector and is going to head to Desert Palace. It's first going to head to Hype Cave, and let's see what these last 4 items are that we didn't see earlier. There's our fire rod. At this point, we know what the deal is. The runners have got to figure it out for themselves, but that is everything our runners need to beat this game.
Wow, and so that's going to be a tough one for BumRushBlitz to find because you've got to go through that Spiral Cave connector to get there. And when he has dungeons that he can full clear, he's not going to be thinking about connectors like that, I don't think.
Chad asking about the NPC in there. Jex was in there earlier without Pearl, was able to talk to the NPC and get his item, but wasn't able to get to the back.
Yeah, so BumRushBlitz finishing off that Aga 2 fight, but of course that will not lead to anything since we know where the only item is left that he needs.
Yeah, there's possibility that I guess we still have not found the desert pack, so this could be the flute. As Jexreffy pulls off a very good parapot. Just a piece of heart in the pyramid ledge spot.
So a big sigh of relief for Jexreffy that that GT climb did not actually lead to anything, and he made the right decision in not banging his head against the wall and going back up a second time.
Yep.
And yep, BumRushBlitz is headed over to the Meyer Ice Palace area.
Jexreffy to get another dungeon completed here. We'll see if he goes back in to get the basement item. From Jex's perspective, he's still looking for that Key of Samaria.
And he has also got to find that desert big key, but he will likely find that if he ever heads to... He'll probably find both of those items at the same time, because the DP big key is at the sunken treasure location, which is right outside the entrance to Palace of Darkness.
Jack's going to take a nice little coffee break here. So the only thing that could be interesting at this point is the flute in one of these dungeons that BumRushBlitz is going through right now.
Alright, it looks like BumRush is going to show us the icebreaker with that Cane of Samaria.
There he goes, gets it fairly easily. Jexreffy heads towards, I thought he was going to head towards the dam area, and he is.
Ooh, we'll see if he remembers to mirror there to check that sunken treasure item, or if he's just headed toward the Bombos tablet.
That's the wrong cane from Jexreffy's perspective.
Oh no, Jexreffy just ran right past the dam.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he's... I guess he's going to head over to the pod area and he's going to see Ice Palace and Misery Mire, which means that he's going to full clear both those dungeons.
Oh, so he's not doing Palace of Darkness right now. Well, he might just be checking these couple of entrances here and then heading back to pod. We'll see. Yeah, actual pod is at the Hype Cave entrance.
And on BumRush's side, a terrible thing to find, the Thieves Town small key. BumRushBlitz making quick work at Ice Palace and is on his way to Cold Stare. With his butter sword, this should be a pretty straightforward fight.
Yeah, it just got clipped by an ice block there, unfortunately, and didn't get the really fast kill.
Yeah, it does get it done, though. It gets crystal number 3.
I'm really showing off the... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Jexreffy kind of dancing around the plot here, going everywhere but where he needs to.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we sort of saw the power of that icebreaker glitch from BumRush. That's a pretty fast full clear of Ice Palace relative to the way we used to have to do things.
Yeah, definitely. Also, choosing to do these dungeons in a smart route, doing Ice Palace first to make sure you're set up with a full health bar. For what should have been a clean Mire 2, things got away from him a little bit, but he's through. Some bombs in the spike chest for BumRushBlitz here in Misery Mire. At this point, the only entrance I think that our runners have access to that they have not seen yet is that Turtle Rock entrance.
Yeah, I'm just scanning over my map. That feels about right to me as well.
BumRushBlitz playing it a little dangerously in Misery Mire, down to 1 heart, but should be able to get up and get to this chest here. Hopefully he doesn't get sniped by one of these Wizards. Jexreffy hops into ice. He doesn't have the big key, but we know that that does not matter today.
And also has not been back into pod to get that cane, so we'll have to do this the long way. Slightly longer way. It's not that much longer, but...
More importantly, he's probably going to hop into Mire and clear out everything but the boss area without that cane, and he's going to have to come back.
BumRush finally taking a second to refill his health there with a fairy.
Sometimes you just want to live dangerously.
Sometimes you know your teammate is coming and you just want to give him a heart attack. I understand, it's fine. Yeah, question in chat about who's got an advantage right now. It's I think, a pretty tough call, because I think the items that Jexreffy needs are more in his path, whereas BumRush has to follow a very specific connector to find his fire rod. Now, admittedly, it is Spiral Cave, which is a connector that you like following because it's a guaranteed item at the end. So we will see who gets to the last item or two that they need first. But yeah, BumRushBlitz is looking for Fire Rod, Jexreffy is looking for Red Cane, and the Desert Palace Big Key.
And both our runners are still looking for the Desert Palace back entrance, which so far is a mystery.
There's been some... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so it may come down to who actually finds that location first.
There's been some debate in chat about whether we actually saw that entrance or not. It might be on the right side of the Turtle Rock Bridge in the Dark World, or somewhere in, or maybe the Mimic Cave entrance, somewhere in that vicinity, I think is what chat might have been saying, which is also with that connector. Yeah, Jinxie Girl going crazy in chat. I'm confused though, because I thought the TR Bridge was how Jexreffy got to Mimic Cave. because that's on the other side of that bridge. Is it the Vanilla Mimic Cave entrance? I'm not sure.
If it's
Okay,
anything
yes.
there, it's in Mimic Cave. Okay.
So when I say there's been some debate in chat, I mean Jinxie Girl has been yelling at us thick commentators, and we haven't been paying attention.
With Silver Arrows, this Vitreous fight's going to be quick and painless.
Well, painless for BumRush probably hurts Vidi a lot, but...
Another crystal got for BumRushBlitz, nothing of value. So at this point, we're just waiting for BumRushBlitz to find that fire rod, or for Jexreffy to hop back into pod and get that cane.
So Hype Cave is at the other end of the Turtle Rock Bridge. So basically everything BumRushBlitz still needs to find is through that Spiral Cave connector.
And meanwhile, everything Jexreffy needs to find is all in the dam area.
And BumRush going back into the front of Turtle Rock. Some more things that are unlocked by Kane that are not what he needs.
Yeah, BumRushBlitz only been able to pick up one more item here. It's just some arrows. So you get to this point in one of these races, you did one earlier this week, and it's a little less than a couple hours in, which is still pretty quick for one of these key, cross keys seeds. And you're looking for one thing: are you starting to panic at all, or are you just trying to go over notes and figure out what you still have left?
Yeah, I mean, it's edging close to panic, because you start wondering if there's an entrance that you missed an hour and a half ago that you should have found already, or things along those lines. So you're just like staring frantically at your tracker, like looking for those little one-off locations where things might have been. BumRush is going to head up and check out the Ether tablet right now. Like, this is sort of the level of desperation that you're at, is any check that you can find, you just need to find a way to route in fairly efficiently.
Meanwhile, Jexreffy having a little bit of problem with Colts here, but does get that fight taken care of and gets Crystal back. Right now, we are at 4 crystals apiece.
BumRush going to show us the Turtle Rock entrance.
Just the storehouse.
Actually, probably good for BumRush to find dead ends right now, because he found Flute or some sort of other access to the mire area. That would just be sort of more of a sidetrack. Ooh, finds the back entrance of Bumper Cave. This might connect us into the Mire region.
I think Jexreffy went through this already earlier. Yeah, it just loops back up to Floating Island. And with all of the real estate that we've covered in the seed, and these seeds being 100% collection, or the 100% accessible, is that flute just locked in the mine area and never to be found, or is it possibly at Thieves Town Big Chest, which is a location BumRushBlitz can get to?
I mean, there's also a chance that it's on the right side of GT, locked by the fire rod. Could be on pedestal for that matter.
Yeah.
Or somewhere in the Helma items. So yeah, BumRush taking a second to think there, taking stock of his keys and things, remembering he's still got the Hera basement and big chest to check.
And as I mentioned earlier, Jexreffy is going to make a near full clear of Misery Mire, only to not find this Canis Amari, and it's going to have to come back and double back in here, which is a big time waste.
Yeah, it's not as bad since BumRushBlitz did the same looking for Fire Rod, but he will have to go through Mire 2 again, of course, and yeah, this is an opportunity cost of time he could be saving by not doing these checks.
Nice Herapod setup from BumRush there.
Oh, that shovel is actually a good find, because that, if he goes to check that, that's going to put him in the vicinity of that Spiral Cave connector at the Corling Brothers hut.
Yeah, that could take him where he needs to go. Meanwhile, Jexreffy is going to continue to look through this Palace of Darkness area.
Oh, the vanilla flute.
Oh no.
Digital D17 in chat calling it. So you definitely go and activate the flute right away. We'll see if he sort of thinks about this Spiral Cave connector while he's walking past it. He might come back to it, but he's probably going to head straight into the mire area.
I would head to the mire area immediately. There's so many entrances.
So yeah, I count, 4 entrances in mire area itself, and then 3 more that you can mirror to in the light world.
Yep. 7 entrances. Like, there's just no way that he's going to complete Easterwise here. But there's just no way that he is going to pass up on 7 entrances before taking the spiral connector.
It might be a somewhat of a question, too, of if he knows it's Spiral Cave or if he just has it marked as some random connector. Because if it's some random connector, you're not sure. But if it's Spiral Cave with that guaranteed item, it's a little bit more tempting.
That is true. Jexreffy finally getting over to the Hyrule Castle area, which we know is a bunch of terrible, terrible locations with nothing in them.
I mean, that's pretty much everything left that Jexreffy hasn't checked except for Palace of Darkness, so...
One other thing that might be weighing on BumRush's mind with this flute is he beat Moldorm without that big key very quickly, and then found the Tower Hera big key a fair while later, probably like 30 or 40 minutes later. That flute, logically, has been available for quite some time.
Yeah, I think that Hera big key was in Pod, but I forget where it was in there. So yeah, it becomes really hard to keep track of exactly how early in the logic chain that was at this point in the seed. But yeah, you are always nervous when you find a really good movement item like that this late into the seed that maybe your opponent has had it forever.
And Eastern Palace down from BumRushBlitz. That's crystal number 5. Going up 5 to 4 here. Jexreffy is finally going to visit our Scamfish.
And yep, not too surprising to see BumRush straight into the mire area. But there's not going to be a whole lot here for him to check. I mean, no dungeons that are going to distract him for a long time or anything like that, so...
Mire Shed choosing not to be randomized today.
Okay, Jexreffy might be going back to Pod, but once again has sort of walked past the Sunken Treasure item without checking it. We'll see if he thinks about it on his way out of Palace of Darkness, but I don't think it's really in his mind right now, because it would have been faster to just hit that right away before going into that portal.
BumRush finding a couple item locations here in the mire area, but as we know, there's nothing here.
This definitely starts to drive you crazy, because just every time you find an item, you sort of think to yourself, "Oh man, is this where the fire rod is?" And then it isn't.
Yeah, I do think it will be a sigh of relief if once he realizes that the fire rod isn't here and that flute that has been open to him for quite some time just isn't the answer.
Oh my gosh, BumRush is so close to where he needs to be and just not quite there. It's a deeply ironic connector he just found.
chat asking if Jexreffy is missing anything with not having those mitts, and the answer is no. Mitts are not locking anything we need today.
BumRush does win Hotel Mario % though, so gotta respect that. The DP Big Key is just chilling out in the Light World Vanilla Dam location. It is the Sunken Treasure item. And so Jexreffy has drained the swamp, drained the dam and finished Swamp, but has not been past that location in the Light World to see the Big Key just sitting there yet.
So interesting enough, Jexreffy is going to go get his cane here very shortly. And although he doesn't have the other two pendant dungeon or the other pendant dungeons completed, he's beaten Swamp, he doesn't beat Thieves Town. I think he's more likely to go beat Helmasaur than BumRushBlitz ended up not doing. Just because he's still looking for the Desert Palace Big Key.
Oh, and actually beating Helmasaur could be good for him because Sahasrara is in the Desert Fairy Cave, so that might lead him past the Sunken Treasure item to go on his way to the Green Pendant turn-in.
Yeah, that's a good point. This Jexreffy's not gonna bomb a Hammer Gump here, it's just gonna take the vanilla path.
Yeah, once you got all 6 keys. Why not?
Yeah, we have seen a lot more of the speedrun glitches out of BumRush than we have out of Jexreffy in this run.
And looks like BumRush is probably going back toward Helmasaur right now. Oh, nope, proving me wrong. Okay, gonna pick up Bombo's tablet and his blue cane as well.
Jex decided to nope out of Palace of Darkness without beating Helmasaur King.
Somewhat understandable. That cane might be pointing you back toward Meyer.
Yeah, now he can beat Meyer. May hop back into Ice for this last item. Doesn't look like it as of the start here. May decide to hide back in there after beating Meyer and finding that Vitreous does not have his answer.
And BumRush is doing the thing. He is going through Spiral Cave. He's going to be really happy to find this connector. And yeah, this is a totally understandable decision from Jexreffy. Pod's not that hard to get back to if you want to go back to it later. And since that Cane of Samaria opens up another crystal for you, not surprising to want to do that right away.
Jack's getting bullied a bit here in Meyer too. Does end up cracking that blue pot. And BumRushBlitz is getting into Desert first, and then after that we'll likely find Hype Cave and find the answer to the puzzle.
BumRushBlitz has the big key for this. Jexreffy does not. We might have misspoken at some point, but yeah, Jexreffy is only missing that Desert Palace big key at this point, and BumRush is missing the Fire Rod, which is on the other end of this bridge.
this will be crystal number 6 for BumRushBlitz. I'm sure he has to be thrilled to know how many locations are in Eastern Palace now.
And this bridge is such a huge location to find in Cross Keys. It's gotta feel real bad to have found it just now, but he will be happy to see this fire rod.
There it is. BumRush with the fire rod now has everything he needs to beat the game. He's in go mode at 2 hours and 9 minutes. Just has a Turtle Rock left to do, and also knows where that laser bridge location is at. Jexreffy does not. So this is going to be a quick trip over there to finish off Trinex, and then heading back over to Kakariko to finish this game off. Meanwhile, Jexreffy does get Vitreous taken care of and picks up his 5th crystal.
BumRush getting trolled by the NPCs up there.
This text box in the vanilla game is like one text box. It is just a gigantic troll and randomizer. BumRush, you have sword beams. Use the sword beams.
Yeah, actually having health at that point in Turtle Rock is a new experience for most of us.
Alright, getting into the Trinex fight here as Jexreffy is hopping back into Turtle Rock as well, hoping to find the answer there.
He's going to find his mitts on Laser Bridge and be able to take out Trinex as well.
He'll just be leaving him with just that Desert Palace Big Key to find. But BumRush into Phase 2 here. Very quick kill in Phase 2. That is crystal number 7 about to drop down for BumRushBlitz.
Yeah, that Butter Sword making very fast work of Trinex. Gets the half magic when he's got nothing left but the Ganon fight.
The literal worst location of the game for half magic.
And absolute easy mode Ganon fight coming in. Butter Sword silvers everything you could want.
Yeah, and with Ganon in a super easy location, one feed over to Kakariko and one drop down the well, and we're gonna have a fight with Big Pig.
Jexreffy having some issues there with the lasers, so he's going to take that safety door and just be sure to get this last chest. Going to go ahead and take the Death Warp. Or not, I guess. Just tried to kill up the corner a little bit too closely. Meanwhile, BumRush is through those first 2 phases of Ganon already.
Yeah, very quick. Butter Sword makes this fight. It isn't free, but it's very, very close. Ganon deciding to dance a bit before getting stuck. nice double there for hits 2 and 3. And there you have it. BumRushBlitz. One short move is going to be crossing this bridge. Get those GGs in chat. As BumRushBlitz has completed this seed, it's picked up a win for the Cool Rush gamers. There you have it with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 46 seconds. BumRushBlitz with the victory.
Yeah, it looks like Jex taking a little pause there to probably talk in IRC about the dot done he just saw from BumRushBlitz. And we did get a forfeit officially from Jexreffy after BumRushBlitz finished. So we will see if we can get our runners into chat here to talk about that particular seed.
Before we get him in here, I was really impressed with BumRushBlitz's decision-making and execution in this seed.
Yeah, absolutely. While we have a second, this is a good time to remind everyone to follow these runners. They're going to be doing some more league races, putting out some great rando content on Twitch. So we certainly had fun watching their race today. So if you want to show your appreciation, be sure to give both of them a follow. Also, shout outs to our tracker for today, Bandman, keeping us informed throughout the race of who had what. It would be totally impossible to keep track of a cross key seed without his help, so thank you very much for that.
And we're joined right now by the winner today, BumRushBlitz. Congratulations, BumRush. That's a really impressive performance today.
Yeah, that was a pretty jet seed. Finding early Titans mitts and early mirror just made routing extremely simplistic early on, which was nice.
And we're also joined by Jexreffy. Jexreffy, good effort today. Not quite the result you'd hope for, but
I felt good about it, though. I mean, until I hear the answer to this question, where's the Desert Big Key?
So the Desert Palace Big Key was a little wet. It was underwater near the dam.
Oh, right. That's where it was.
Remember how I said I felt good about this seed?
Yeah, we watched.
That's over.
We watched you dance around that location for 10 minutes near the middle, where you were looking for the Canis Samaria and that big key, and BumRush was looking for the fire rod, and you danced around that place for a little while without heading over there. And BumRush finally got directed over to Hype Cave where that fire rod was at, and put the pieces together.
Man, I feel so much worse about this seed now that I know where that is.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that in Cross Keys because, I mean, Jex, you followed that Spiral Cave connector so early, and it was obviously just the last thing that BumRush checked. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, Spiral Cave will just have those random one-off locations that sometimes pay off and sometimes just bite you.
Yeah. What happened? Okay, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but somehow when I was trying to fight Trinex, I couldn't slash the head. Like, every time I tried to slash the red head, it just, like, nicked it like it was invincible. I couldn't figure out what was going on. But, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. At that point, BumRush was fighting Ganon, so our attention was over there a little bit, but...
So... Anywho.
Yeah.
Really good...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
This is a really good race, and back and forth the whole way. Jex, you had the mirror very early. BumRush took a little bit longer to find that mirror and get the world open up to him. But this is one of those seeds where you had the world kind of opened up to you from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was... I mean, it was one of those things where you Sorry, I'm like it was one of those. This is my first time doing an actual like cross keys race. Every other time it's just been practice, and so like having the mirror early and then finding Moon Pearl, not. Like at least before like the first hour, it just kind of felt like being able to route stuff was a lot easier than a lot easier, and so it felt like I had a good grasp on where things were. It was just a matter of finding the right things to go get the dungeons finished.
Yeah, and that was actually one of the early swings for BumRush. Was BumRush, you went south sooner, and so found that Moon Pearl super early. So you sort of got into the dark world first. How were you feeling at that point?
At that point, I was actually feeling really good, just because I had so many checks open, and I felt like that we already had a good bit of the game open. So finding it early just meant that I could do more checks early. And I think I also found the boots really early too. I can't remember where those were though.
Yeah, both of you guys had the boots very quickly in this seed. It was a little back and forth at the beginning. Jex found the mirror and had that to route things in, but didn't find the Moon Pearl, and you had the Moon Pearl to route other locations in, and things kind of evened up in the middle, and it just came down to routing in the end and finding those last items or two that you needed to finish.
Yeah, I know. I just completely forgot about Mimic Cave for like the longest time. And then eventually I was like, okay, there's like 3 spots I haven't checked in the entire game, like 3 entrances. One of those has to be the back of desert. And the fire rod's got to be in one of those as well, because I had checked so much. And then, of course, they were just sitting up there. Could have got those 10 minutes in.
Yeah, and then you just about got trolled by finding that flute, because we were sitting here saying, oh, the shovel might take you back towards Spiral Cave, and then you find the flute with the shovel item, which was just like the worst possible thing for you at that point.
The most vanilla place, yeah.
But yeah, all in all, this was a really fun race to watch. Thank you both. We really enjoyed it. Any final thoughts from you two on this seed?
I don't know. I felt like it was actually like pretty generous with item locations, like most of the connectors weren't terrible, and so often I have a run where it's like a required bunny walk to get a Moon Pearl in a stupid spot, and it like everything was pretty generous, I felt, other than like me making mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, dumb mistakes happen, but I mean, to hear it was pretty close was still pretty encouraging. GG BumRush. Thanks to commentators, trackers, and the restreamers. Was fun, even though I'm still hating myself right now.
Plenty of time to breathe. You'll get another chance next week with co-op spoiler log key sanity. How are you two feeling about that mode next week?
Pretty good. My race is actually tomorrow, so got to get my practice in.
Yeah, I've been practicing with Matt. We still have to schedule our races, but feeling pretty good for that.
Are you guys choosing to do the racing or the piloting?
Matt and I are gonna take turns. I'm gonna race. We're gonna each pilot one and race one.
And then I'm gonna be racing, and Cool Papa is gonna be the pilot for me. So
yeah, I'm actually going to pilot both of our team's races this week. So hopefully I'm a good pilot, or else we're in big trouble.
Well, good luck to both of you, and you two as well, Kupapa, next week. It's the next week is the one I'm looking forward to the most. I really love spoiler log races, so I'm very excited to see how teams try and put this puzzle together as quickly as they can.
Yeah, definitely. That one's going to be a lot of fun. These next 2 weeks are basically the reason why I signed up to do the league, because I think they're going to be a ton of fun. So So yeah, if anybody out there watching, thank you, by the way, for watching. We appreciate it. If you want to see some more league action, there's going to be another Cross Keys race over on the ALTTPR League channel at 7:10 Eastern, so about an hour and a half. And then an hour after that, I believe there is another league race on Speed Gaming 2. So check those out if you want to see some more Cross Keys today. And of course, keep your eyes on Speed Gaming and the ALTTPR League channels for lots more league action over the next few weeks.
Yes, any final thoughts for anyone, or?
I think I'm good.
All right, then for the runners, go ahead and give them a follow. BumRushBlitz and Jexreffy. For our tracker, Bandman25, thanks for the effort he put in. And for Papa Bell, I'm James FNX. I hope you enjoyed the race today, and we'll see you later.